Hello and welcome to the JTrain podcast. It's a Chit Chat Wednesday, and we have an OKP, an original key player, Anthony Devito. He's been coming on my podcast and every iteration of it for literally, I think, a decade of friendship, of podcasting. We talk about that. We talk about how, you know, you've commoditized your friendships to be able to have these conversations on the air. And I will tell you this is there's no difference between, and we say it on the episode, there's no difference between this conversation with Anthony and I over Zoom and one we would have while waiting to go on stage at a comedy club here in New York City. I love Anthony. And, I almost buried the lead. He is taping a special this Friday. He's taping a special this Friday in Brooklyn. Go. And I hate the word support because I want you to go support Anthony, but he's going to support you. You bring your friends to his shows. I am going to guarantee you will have a great time. You're going to laugh your ass off. So it's this Friday in Brooklyn at the Gutter in Brooklyn. He has an 8 that he's already got tickets sold to. We want people to go to the 10:30 show. Go to the 10:30 show. Be fun. Have an awesome time. Assemble the group chat this Friday, May 9th, 8 and 10:30, the Gutter, at comedian Anthony DeVito on Instagram. Go. I know this is quick, but maybe you don't have anything going on this weekend, and this is your answer to that problem. So go get tickets to Anthony's show and enjoy today's episode. Boom. Hello and welcome to the JTrain podcast. This is JTrain, Jared Freid, coming to you live from the West Village of Manhattan. That's right. Every Wednesday is a Chit Chat Wednesday where I have a friend or comedian or expert. Today I have all three. Friend, comedian, expert in eating an apple on an audio program. If you're watching on YouTube.
You guys say it's true about an apple. And it's not a soft food.
That is not a podcast food.
Not a podcast.
Not a podcast.
You are.
Hey, Anthony, are you ready to do the podcast? Yeah, I'm ready. Chomping on an apple. That is, there's nothing been less ready for a podcast. If I saw a guy with an apple, like, walking down the street, I'd be like, here's what I know about him. He's not ready to tape a podcast.
That guy's about to do a Patreon. That's what I would say. This is a man. Two things I know about this man. That is a guy who's keeping a doctor away, and he is about to do a bonus episode.
Anthony DeVito, welcome back, an OKP to the JTrain cinematic universe. How are you? Oh, well, let's get to why you're here.
Just good to be back in the JCU, man. You know.
The JCU welcomes you with open arms. Anytime we get the text, we are ready. Okay, we have to assemble the group chats out there in JTrain land. Anthony's taping a special this Friday. Usually we get ahead. Usually people reach out a couple weeks before, but this is Anthony Apple Eating DeVito.
Hold on. I'm trying to hold on. Here's the problem when you're in this position where you're good friends with people who are all doing so much better than you. And you never want I'm so weary of asking for favors.
This isn't a favor. This is you doing me a favor. You're doing my podcast. This is the best way you could ever promote it.
Yeah, initially it wasn't. This is what I love. This is what I love about you. Where I thought it was a real lazy man me approach where I go, hey man, can you just share the ticket link in the photo in an Instagram story? And in my head I'm like, and then I'll just eat my apple in peace. And you were like, let's hop on a Zoom right now and do a podcast. I'm like, yeah man, even better. That's great.
Let's do the actual work that gets people to come to your stupid fucking show, okay?
That's not what I want. I want you to blast it out to your fandom and for me to get my residual JTrain fans and for me to eat my goddamn apple in peace.
Here I can't believe...
You understand how bad apples go bad quick, Jared.
Slower than an avocado, faster than a pear. But I will say this.
Yeah,
now you've painted quite a cocky image of yourself. Just you chomping on an apple. Who can I ask to share my link while I sit here and do nothing and eat an apple?
like Thomas Jefferson would. That's right.
You're like Thanos, just sitting on a tree stump, waiting for his acolytes to take down the Avengers. You guys go to war. I'll wait here.
Who above me can do my bidding for me?
Right.
That's even worse because I'm a middle management guy, and I'm like, I wonder if I could get one of the bosses to do my bidding for me so I can eat lunch in peace.
You're trying to trick a CEO into being a henchman? What do you think I am? I'm going to get you to work. Let's go and do a podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Chit Chat Wednesday.
Yeah, man, of course. I mean, yeah, honestly, man, yeah, I'm very happy to be doing this. I'd rather be doing this. And I was just sitting here waiting on lighting fixtures to come in from Amazon. So this beats up the clock for me. This is great.
I'm so happy you're here. It's been a while since I've seen you, or I saw you quickly at the Cellar holiday party that happens in April. It was a quick hello wave, and then I was on my way because I wasn't drinking. So like there was a moment of like time to go.
Yeah,
TTG.
I got sucked into the Mad Dog sphere, and then once you're in there, man, there's no getting out of there. That's like a black hole.
James Mattern, friend of the pod, a fop, Mad Dog Mattern. Yeah, you know, because then you're dealing with Mad Dog. You got to like talk him down. You got to make sure he's okay. You got to go through all his anxieties, and then you got to like trade. You got to give him a couple anxieties of your own to make him feel better that he has anxieties.
I don't even give him. I don't give him any. I at this point I go
full therapist.
Yeah, I just go. I go full therapist, man. I don't even do that. I carry a satchel of books with me, and then I have books that I recommend him. I take them out.
Tell him he looks good. There's a lot of fashion. Are you on his fashion texts?
No, I am the least fashionable guy in America.
That makes me feel better.
Advice about what he should be wearing out to a public.
Every now and again, and it makes me feel better because I'm like I hope he's only going to me. I do feel good. I'll get a text from Mad Dog, and everyone should go follow James Mattern if you don't already. He's a hilarious comic. But every now and again, I'll get a text. It'll be like, "What do you think, Bubbas?" And it'll be him in a fedora, and it'll be fedora choices. It'll be which fedora best represents me, and I take it very seriously. I actually give him answers, and I'm like, I've never been more honest with someone's fashion choices in my entire life.
Yeah, I like it too, just because I never do. I never get to do something like this. I honestly, man, I think if anyone's out there, I think he would appreciate feedback from even more than just Jared and I. If there's anybody out there listening to this that wants to, I would say once a week, assess James's outfit before he hosts 6 shows in New York City.
Shoot him a DM. Just be like, you look thin. He'll be very happy. It'll really get him going.
Here is the thing, though. If you start with that, it is going to escalate into a very intimate friendship very quickly. So you can be ready for that.
Get ready for a weekly text about how his body looks. Okay, yeah. Let's get to the business here. Friday, May 9th, you are taping a special. It is at the Gutter in Brooklyn. If you are listening and you are in the New York City area, you need to go to Anthony's show. You need to assemble the group chat. You need to get the crew together. Anthony's hilarious. You're going to laugh. You're going to be part of a taping, which is very cool. If you're single and you're like kind of like 3 dates in with someone or like a few dates in, what a I know New York moment. What a, like, I got a place. Like, that was like a meme for a second. I got a place. Like, women looking for men who can go, I got a little something in mind. You don't know how cool you will look until you say to a woman or a guy. If a woman said to me, I got a place, immediate erection. Immediate. I was like, wow, I don't have to make the plan. You have a thing. You want to go see this comedian. So Anthony is giving you the opportunity to look like a cool, in-the-know New Yorker. And it's on the weekend. So if you're traveling here, May 9th, 2 shows, 8 and 10:30. Go. Where do they get? At comedian Anthony Devito on Instagram. The link is in your bio. It's at the Gutter. It's all there.
Yeah, and then come to the late show because that one has the least amount of tickets sold.
Okay, we want the late show, so we want some late people. And here's what here's my recommendation to you, late show people. Let's wait. Wait. If you're like, okay, let's start drinking now, wait an hour. Just wait an extra hour to have that first drink because we want like a fun crowd, but we don't want someone who doesn't remember the fun. We want a good laughing crowd.
Yeah, so I've been running a family deal. That's what I've been running. So tickets are $10 each, but I've been running this deal where, and this is based on the American nuclear family, 4 people. Doesn't matter the genders, doesn't matter the races, obviously.
He's in Brooklyn. He's not gonna get into that.
It's all on my website. All these disclaimers, but
we take all races, all religions. You have the sign that's on the back of the car, the douchey, like with the fish and the peace sign and the Jewish star and the cross. Yeah. It's on the website.
It's all there. But those $10 single tickets are $10. But I am running this family deal for 4, where the parents go to the early show and then the kids go to the late show, and it's only $30. So you're getting 1 free ticket if you do the family deal.
This is a deal. This is an Applebee's situation. When you're here, your family, get the whole family, and 4 for the price of 3. It doesn't really have a ring to it, but
it hasn't been going well. But it is 4 for the price of 3, and I know you're sitting there and you're going, but what if I don't know what race or gender I am?
Right. Doesn't work. It's okay.
You're fine.
It doesn't matter. Whatever you choose that night is good for you. Listen, here's the other thing. Not to sell this too hard. Now we're in the sell too hard.
One idea too. Come to the 8 show as a man. Come at 10:30 as a woman.
You can do whatever you identify, whatever you want. Ticket. But you got to laugh differently. You got to laugh. I got to hear a different tone to your laugh. Any tone you want, but it's got to be different. You got to have 2 different laughs. Here's the thing. We're going to sell this too hard, but there are people spending money for a comedy show ticket this weekend that won't be as good as Anthony Devito's show. That's the real depressing part of this whole grift that we're in, is that Anthony is putting together what I can promise you will be one of the best hours you'll see. You'll be like, wow, this guy's unbelievable. This is every bit mattered. There was fun. It was thought out. It was written. And someone else is at a club listening to some TikToker who is asking them, what do you do for a living for an hour? And they spend more for that ticket.
Well, I also am going to be doing the TikTok portion of the evening as well, where I will be
You got to promote
every single person individually in the crowd, where they're from, what they do for a living, and
the race they've chosen, the gender they've chosen. Yeah, you're going to get into all that with each of them.
Yeah. So everybody is going to be happy with the way I'm doing. You're going to be there a while because it's a
lot of people to go through.
A lot of people to go through.
Got a lot of questions.
Yeah. So if you're coming to the show, have your answers kind of ready so that we don't spend too much time on you.
Listen, the link to the ticket link is going to be in the description of this episode on SoundCloud. We haven't used SoundCloud in 18,000 years.
Try to put this thing anywhere.
We'll put it all. We put it everywhere. So we put it on the old SoundCloud page. Every podcast app you're using, in the description is a link to get tickets to the show. It'll be on my page as well, my Instagram, my Twitter, all that stuff. Now, okay, here are my questions about, first of all, how have you been now that we've done all the business? What's going on?
Pretty good. I'll tell you, I'm hungry for this apple. But other than that, man, I'm great.
An apple!
Put it down. I had to put it down because it was tempting me too much.
You're watching on YouTube. The gall. The gall.
I tried to eat it a couple of times, but then remembered where I was at and the favor you're doing for me.
Because I'm going to get the DMs. Hey, man, I had to stop listening. Anthony kept crunching.
Of course. And here's the thing. And you're not wrong, all right? I've heard the complaints about me eating on podcasts, and I've listened to playback. It's horrific. You're not wrong.
It's a tough listen, and you do feel badly. Like I've had that. Someone's like, "You're chewing on ice," and you're like, "Oh, come on, get over it." And then you go listen to it, and you're like, "Man, I've ruined many a days with this. Like someone really did not need to hear me chomping away."
Well, yeah, because people listen, people look forward, and some people have empty lives. You know what I mean? And then they look forward
You and I included.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what? Okay, what is your? Okay, let me do some show. This will be both entertaining as well as promotion for the show. What's your favorite joke? It's not the audience's favorite of the hour. What is your favorite one? What's the one you like the most?
I think I like.
Not the joke itself. Just give me the premise. Give me what are we talking about? What's the subject?
Well, one of them is like a 5-minute story, so I'd have to tell you the whole story. So that'd be impossible.
What's it about?
Just about I get growing up and family. Is that too vague?
Let's get a little growing up and family.
Is that not
Anthony, I'm trying to sell your show. You come on here eating an apple like a horse. Hey, can you tell me your favorite premise? Family? What?
Are you not chomping at the bit from there? You know what is always
I gotta get a ticket for his family and growth bit that I can't wait to hear.
I will always say this, man. Whenever I've had a fan of yours come out, or really anybody come out who's ever heard me or exclusively knows me from a podcast and then sees me do stand-up, they always say, and I swear to God, they'll go, "Don't take this the wrong way, but you are so much better at stand-up than you are at doing podcasts."
It is correct. People would not believe. Actually, now you're really inspiring me because it is weird. People would not believe how prepared you are to do stand-up based on your social media and podcast presence. The presence is like, you would think you get on stage and are like, what am I doing here? With an apple. You would think you're the Apple comedian. You're just chomping an apple. What do you do for a living? You're doing on podcast what big podcasters do on stage. Isn't that weird? It's like a body switch movie.
Yeah, all of my energy, all of my focus goes into the thing people care about the least.
Right.
I care the most about that. And then the rest of it is just, yeah, man, you're right. I came on here like on a horse eating an apple, and you asked for one of my best bits. You're lucky I didn't say a Chevy Chase joke. I couldn't even think of it.
Right. I thought you were going to bring up Yao Ming's cock again, and we were going to have to talk about Yao Ming's dick for a half hour. And people were like, I'm not going to that show. You want my parents? I'm going to do a 3-for-4 special with my parents to see Yao Ming's dick? This is crazy.
That was the peak of me podcasting, was Yao Ming's dick, and I
quite an episode. You can go back. It's in the archives. You can look up. I think the name of the episode is Yao Ming's penis. I
think it is. I've had a couple people come up and say that to me.
Hey man, no offense. Found you on Yao Ming's penis. This stand-up really surprised me. Way less. I came here for Yao Ming's penis, and I got a thoughtful bit about family and growth.
Yeah, I would say come to the show, if anything, just to see the amount of multitudes one person can contain.
It is wild. It is actually crazy. If the idea of two friends talking about Yao Ming's penis for an hour is like revolting to you, your show's actually the one they should want to see because there's no relation to that whatsoever.
Yeah, man. I think my favorite joke is probably a pro reparations joke.
What? Someone listening is like, wait, pro reparations? The guy who ate an apple?
Yeah, I think my favorite jokes. There's like a pro trans, a pro reparations,
It's almost like you're doing a commercial for because these podcasts are just commercials for the comedian. Like when you go on a show, it is like, oh, what? Let me get a little taste of Anthony, and you're giving them like, pasta with vodka sauce, and then they're coming and they're like, wait a minute, this is ice cream? What's going on? Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Greg is way more in line with what he does on stage.
Yeah, that's exact. There's no real disconnect there. Well,
No.
the problem is because when I'm allowed to write, that's when I can sort of focus on my thoughts and
Mm.
attention. Everything slows down, and I can kind of get things out in an intelligent way. But man, when I'm not allowed to write, it's just a bunch of bees going around at the same time in my head, but they're not really, they're not
Well,
really saying anything.
let me focus you a little bit.
Yeah.
What's the last thing that annoyed you?
Well, I'll try to think of my morning. Uh, See, yeah,
Please.
this is, I'll take too much time here, but um, this morning, well, I woke up with a little bit of a scratchy throat, and I'm not thrilled about this.
Okay.
Um, Also, if you want to say the last thing that actually annoyed me is I was mid-apple, but I'm not allowed to eat the apple on the podcast.
So you're annoyed that you can't eat an apple on a podcast where people would be listening to you eat an apple.
I am. I'll
That
tell you the whole thing. I'll tell you the whole thing. I'll give you the whole rundown
okay.
of why this is a very sprawling annoyance to me.
Okay.
I love you, and I love the idea of talking to you in the
Here
middle of my Wednesday. Nope, this
okay,
is not
here comes
This is not,
here comes the smack to the face. Here it comes.
it's not gonna be.
Okay.
It's not gonna be. And I would love to just do that. Do you know what I mean? If
Right.
literally, if you were like, and I understand that is basically what we're doing, but with
Right.
like an added element of, people are gonna be listening to this, and it's like
Right.
quote unquote entertainment, right?
Right.
So I'm like, if I was just talking to you, my friend Jared, over
Yes.
Zoom on a Wednesday, I could eat an apple and it wouldn't be. You might be
Right.
upset, but like it would be like, all right, that's fine because there's not a listening public as well. So
Right.
because comedy has gone the route of not only do you, I know you've had a podcast forever, but you now have to do JTrain. You got to do a chit chat. You got to do so many podcasts.
Right.
That so I can't eat my apple. Basically, it
Well-
boils down to because of that I cannot eat my apple.
Well, I do understand, if we want to make it real, the commoditization of friendship is
Right.
really like where stand-ups, like we would, and listen, you're right. We should get together. We should get together without a camera and a audio, without the tapes rolling.
Though. It's a waste.
There is a moment where you're hanging out with another comedian. You go, we had such good stuff here. We could have been viral. And it's like, it's weird because it's so stupid. It's like, I think about this a good amount where it's like, even when you walk in to do a podcast and you start chit-chatting with whoever's the host, you get mid-conversation and everyone goes, stop talking. This is good stuff. And you're like, what are we doing? And also, whatever we're doing isn't working. It's not like we've done all these podcasts that have become like the holy grail, like have gone viral, like to stop a conversation that.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, but you've done, this is great. What you've done, the work you've put in and what it's become is great. But the intertwining, what you're saying is,
Right.
It gets so weird.
It gets weird, and it's weird because, we're not saying things we're not holding back. Maybe we would get more specific and talk shit about someone with a name being thrown around, but that's really the only difference. Like
that is true.
It's
That's the only element missing is
Well, I think that's a good annoyance. I think, and it's like, you talk about like one thing you love doing is the thing you should probably be working on the least is kind of crazy. Like stand up.
Oh, sure, totally.
Is like, it's like I saw a comic like a week ago, and they were debating like where this one word should go in the joke, and I'm like, what are you doing? You should just be on Instagram yelling about an apple. Like,
you should see me this week, man. I got 3 jokes that I'm still, sort of not like they're close but not quite. I'm doing like
Right.
3 spots a night this week to get them there. No one will have cared.
Right.
I'm not complaining. I'm more just like
Until
it's funny, you know?
no, it is funny until they do. Here's the thing. You're making this special because you're going to cut it up and throw. You're basically collecting pennies to throw into the wishing well is what we're doing with these specials.
Sure.
You're getting a sack of pennies, aka a bunch of bits that you can put online to grow your business, so to speak. And it's like when you put it that way, you go, okay, this is a good reason to do a special. Like there's actual, like for you to tape it, this is a good thing. This is what you should be doing. This is you're chopping wood to put into the fire. Like this is all good stuff. But there is like, when I remember when I was doing life insurance sales, you got to take the Series 7, and that's like the financial test. And you have to get over an 80 or something to like pass the Series 7. I remember hearing that like these financial firms, like these like Goldman Sachs, they'd be like, yeah, they got to take the Series 7. But if you got like a 95, they would like be mad at you because you studied too hard.
Right.
And you should get an 81 because that's the most efficient you could ever be. And it's like we're kind of getting that way with stand up a little bit, where you can see like someone's going on stage with their like 20 minutes, and then does anyone have any questions? And you're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. And I wouldn't mind it if like you divulged a lot of crazy shit and then you were like, all right, man, I'm bound to have questions here, aren't I? Shoot. But you're kind of just saying like, not knocking whatever, like, you know what I mean? But like more surface, level stuff, which is
Right.
which is a lot of what this is. It's entertainment, you know what I
Well,
mean?
the jokes aren't worked on, and then it's any questions about
Yeah.
how I jerk off? And you're like,
Yeah.
I guess I have a couple questions why you thought this was worth a $50 ticket. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we are sponsored Aura Frames. I love my Aura frame. I love it as a gift. Your mom's going to love it. Your dad's going to love it. Your grandparents, whoever it is that you give it to, is going to love the Aura frame because it's a fun way to interact with the people that you would show pictures to. Who would you show a picture to? Who would you send a picture of your kids or of your vacation with your boyfriend or girlfriend or your husband or wife? Who would you send it to? Well, that's someone you would buy an Aura frame for. And if you've ever made your mom cry in a good way, you know how golden that moment is. Make it happen again this Mother's Day with Aura Frames. This thing was featured in 495 gift guides last year, so it's got to be good. I have one. I'm looking at mine right here on my desk. My parents have one that I gave them, and you have the app. You upload it onto their Aura Frame, and it's just sitting there waiting for them. And it's like a fun surprise. Every time you use it, you're going to get smiles out of them. They're going to be happy they have it. It takes 5-10 minutes. You can set it up for them, or if they're tech parents, if they can do these things, they're going to set it up in no time. What a great way to connect with family, and it looks good on the counter in the kitchen. It looks good. It's not just some flimsy thing. It's like a real piece. Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. For a limited time, JTrain listeners can save on the perfect gift at auraframes.com with code JTrain to get $35 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver mat frame. That's AURA frames.com, promo code JTrain. That's promo code JTrain. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. I talk too much about this. I don't know why. It's all I talk about. It's like I'm like obsessed with it. Like right now I have Pat McAfee on TV right now. You know how many times I've complained about this guy? I'm the loser.
What do you mean?
Pat McAfee like tells people he does stand up. Like I'm like I'm like he did stand. He used our craft to get to where he is. Like he used us.
I think it was more of him being in the. You think if Pat McAfee never played in the NFL, he would be where
but this is my problem. But this is my problem, Anthony. You're better off, if I'm to be honest. Like, don't work on the 3 bits this week. Don't do it. Go to a punting camp and become the greatest become a pretty good punter.
Well, that's what I tell like not a lot, but some young comics who would ask like, what should I do? I'm like, just get your real estate license because That seems to be the fastest route to getting on Netflix or television is selling commercial real estate.
Be a sassy real estate agent who loves the drama, and you're in. You're love drama. Like, and that's the thing. Most comics, I think, like, we kind of don't like drama. Like, we would be bad, Bravo show people.
Yeah, because we're the observe, take it in, present back. Here's what I've seen. We're the straight man. That's why writing. I think writing like a sitcom with the comic is always the least interesting person on it because we're the observer. We're not like
right. Like Seinfeld isn't the fun of that show. He's rarely the fun of Seinfeld. It's Kramer. It's George. It's Elaine.
Yeah,
and him being. Right, and he's reporting on the news of how crazy Elaine's dating life is.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Those other characters, like they start in the drama. I have to be the biggest personality space, especially coming from reality television. It's like you don't want to watch the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and they're all just like measured.
The Real Housewives of middle class is like people being polite to each other.
Yeah, just conflict resolution, just like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you don't want to see that. That's not why you're tuning in.
I had
Andy Cohen.
No, Andy Cohen's like, so how are you two doing? They're like, great. Yeah. We resolved who should drive to soccer practice, and that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just like, well, she lied about her having cancer, so now I'm fucking her son. So that's how we're doing, Andy. Do you know what I mean?
Right. That's what everyone... And that's when I sit and go, oh, thank God this is on TV. This is... When you have a great reality plot, it is truly like, you're like, I can't get enough of these people's problems.
Well, yeah, that's what's always interesting, because, Julia loves the Housewives, and, like... The better the season just means more of whoever's involved, their life is in more shambles. That's right. All. There's a direct correlation.
The whole Scandival thing. That guy cheated on his wife-ish with a woman on the show. Like that's as bad a thing as anyone could do to their wife.
Yeah, no,
you wouldn't wish that on your worst enemy. All three of the people in it, you wouldn't wish that on.
Yeah, and then and we're like, and honestly, people, it's a strange feeling because then you got people that are just like, well, I feel so bad. Ariana, was that her name?
Yeah, Ariana Madix.
Ariana, right? Yeah, like they're like, I feel my heart goes out to Ariana, but at the same time, you're like. But thank God that happened because my Wednesdays are popping off.
Right. We needed you. Ariana. Like, and also she ended up making probably more money than she could have ever imagined. Like, it is kind of like a genie's wish gone awry. Like, hey, I want to be the biggest celebrity in the country, and you go, your wish is my command, and then all of a sudden, your husband cheats on you, and you become like the face of getting cheated on, and you're totally. I'll take it. What do you say?
Yeah, man. I think it's interesting too. They usually go the route of Roxy Hart in Chicago. Have you noticed that? That's part of like
the rise to fame.
Yeah.
What is that part? I don't even know. What is that part? What is the character?
It's one of the leads in the play. Because Julie and I saw it. I took her for Valentine's Day a couple of years ago when Erica Jane was. And it's so interesting when they do this on Broadway. Not that I'm like, I'm going to the theater every night, but you can tell just because like performers on Broadway, these are some of the most talented people on planet Earth.
Right.
Earth. And it's not being hyperbolic. And then you have, Erica Jane. So like the disparity in, it's like, I just
saw a TikTok. Like a month ago, Ashley Graham is playing that part now.
Right.
The plus size model. And the woman was like, the TikTok was like how disappointed she was that like Ashley Graham wasn't great. And it's like, yeah, this is like, being a Broadway actor, actress, whatever, that's being an Olympian to me.
Yes.
The type of, not only do you have to act, you got to sing. You're a decathlete. You got to sing. You got to act. You got to emote. You got to do press. You got to do it every night. They do twice on Sundays. Like that is. I was in a movie. I was in a movie with a Broadway actress, and I was like I'm acting alongside her. I was embarrassed. I'm like, I was anxious. Like, who am I?
Of course. Yeah. And then, you just, you got Shohei Ohtani up there doing his best. And then people are like, I can't believe, well, why would they?
Right. But I guess the thing is, like, they bring people into the theater. So, like, it's kind of like us with The Cellar. Like, you're going to get bumped. Like, if you go to a comedy club and you get bumped, it's your hope that that's the reason someone shows up on a Monday where the celebrity doesn't come.
Yep. But that's getting them there. I mean, that's why we were there. You know what I mean?
Right. You were there for, and also you're there a little bit for the drama. Like, you want to see her fail. Like, you want to be able to, how does she do comparatively? And it's like, oh
man,
I gave a speech at my brother's wedding, and like, I was as funny as I could be. I wasn't there to like do a set.
Of course.
And I thought it was fine, but then I saw someone randomly on Hudson, and they were like, I gave a speech at the wedding, and everyone said I was just as good as you. And I was like, come on. You have to understand how we're ranking these things. Like, Erica Jane and Ariana Madix, they did okay for them, and now they're getting compared. Like, not to say I'm a Broadway star. I'm just saying, like, they were being nice to you.
Yeah, man, you do this for a living.
Right.
And you have somebody else who's an investment banker who is just like studied their notes every night for a week. Literally, you're just like, yeah, just give me the microphone. I'll just kind of do whatever,
Off the dome. Even so, don't compare. Don't act like these were things they were lying to you.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, man, those are not your friends. Because what's going to happen? We're going to get up at a comedy club, and it's going to ruin you.
You're going to do the stuff about your best friend on stage? Fuck off.
What do you think of all the Belichick stuff, man?
It's wild. It is the parallels between a dad getting divorced and then having like a new family that you're kind of like have to deal with. They were there for Brady and going to Tampa Bay. This is like times 1,000. Like, and it seems that the kids are not in. It seems like this isn't like a full family. Like, this is dad. This is our new, dad's new girlfriend. No. This is him alone on Belichick Island. And she seems to be a hustler. Like, she is working. I mean, the more stories you hear, like she wanted to be the reason. So the thing I read is that, and I don't know how true this is that Hard Knocks was going to do a season of UNC football. So Hard Knocks is the docuseries where they're going to profile Belichick going to college and doing USC football. And it's like a soap opera for men where men, you watch Hard Knocks, you get pumped up. You're cheering for the underdogs. Every Hard Knocks episode is like, this team is now, it speaks to a male, like, heartstring that can be plucked. And instead, and they had to cancel the show because they didn't want because Belichick's girlfriend demanded to be a producer. Like, that is one of those things. It's like a show that has been around, won Emmys. I'd like to be an executive producer on the show. And they're like, no. And so, like, I would do anything to just follow them around and see what she's like, because she has to be the most annoying person you've ever met in your entire life. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of things with it. I mean, that the her wanting to be the producer on it's like that's just. I mean, that's such a heat check. You know what I mean? In
So
terms of like, man, I don't know. Like, it started with free drinks. Next thing you know, I'm on a yacht. Like, okay, I got my college paid for me. Next thing you know, she's like, man, I think I might fuck Bill Belichick. And then
right.
she's like, God damn it, it's gone so far, man. I think I can do it. I'm gonna be executive producer. HBO is where it stopped at HBO. That's how far she got.
On
That's
a long running series. Like
yeah,
she
a
why
beloved
wouldn't
story.
she right, why wouldn't she think that? She's CC'd on emails about
Totally.
the team. Like and it's weird because I do have to acknowledge this is like I have to acknowledge we might be being hard on her or harder on her because she's a woman. Like no one likes this brand of woman. Like woman who uses her sexuality to get ahead while also being like considering herself the CEO of a company that doesn't exist. Like that
Yeah.
works for men. Like it for some, we kind of give men the benefit of the doubt. Men do versions of this, but we're harder, I think, on women who do this. So I don't want to sound old when I reference her, but she
Yeah.
seems extremely hateable just in that one we're not talking about this because it's also Gen Z. It also makes me see how much I don't like Gen Z.
They have so much ambition.
Right.
Really shows you like that Gen Z hustler mentality is knows no bounds.
Right. And I think ambition is strong in any 24-year-old. But I think Gen Z, the thing that they had was the road laid and paved in front of them to be ambitious. Like
Right.
when we were younger and the internet's just coming to fruition, you were embarrassed to call yourself a blogger. Like that was an embarrassing thing. And then it started making a couple bucks. And then that turns into like my Instagram account leads you to my blog and you go, okay, but you're like embarrassed to do a face to camera video. These Gen Z people are there's no shame. It is I'm building my empire, get the fuck out of the way
Yeah.
mentality. And she wears it. But maybe I'm putting things on her that don't exist. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I just thought, personally, I like the story. I think any gigantic age gap relationship, they're inspiring. Like,
Right.
it's so brave to me. Like, because they know that everybody in the world is talking shit about them and they do not care.
Right.
Like,
It's
that
a
to
it's
me,
a
like, I don't even wear a leather jacket. Do you know what I mean?
right. I mean it's wearing your fetish too, like a little bit. Like
Yeah.
you see what the person's into or you are left to assume other things. Like do we think she's into Bill Belichick for the power he has or do we think she's in him cuz that's the type of guy she's attracted to? Like we don't
Used
know.
to date Greg Popovich, so this is par for the course. Uh,
I think it's the most interesting thing. And then also I think of like my dad being asked to like put a 24-year-old woman on his feet in a yoga pose on the beach. And I'm like, I don't even think he could do that. Like we have to respect Bill Belichick's, physical ability here.
Totally, man. For both parties, I like, I didn't know she wasn't a popular figure before this, so there's really no. But
They met on
Belichick,
an airplane. They met on
yeah,
a flight. Like a can you
I don't really buy that though.
you don't buy that?
No, I don't.
So
I
you
think,
think this happened otherwise and they say, let's just say we met on the flight.
yeah, I think they went with flight, which I think is kind of crazy because look, Bill Belichick's got a storied history of, he's not a charming guy.
Well, not charming, and also has weird women stuff in his history. Like I think
Yeah,
he used to I think he had a cheating thing in his background. I don't want to speak out of turn. I don't know for sure, but there was
sure.
something. I think he slept with like the Jets, like something happened when
How
he
long?
left the Jets years and years ago, where he was dating someone that not dating. I don't know. I'm
How
speaking
long was the flight? Do we know?
long enough. I
Well, here's
right.
what I'm asking, and I think actually this is a good question for you. Do you think if it's a longer flight or a shorter flight, it's helpful for him?
Shorter flight.
Let's okay, right.
It's a shorter flight because the move is you get on a flight what happens is if you start talking to someone, it can go too long. You put the headphones in, you take them out, you put them in, you take them out. You really need this to be like a 2-hour flight where the first hour you accidentally hit their elbow or something. I'm sorry, headphone comes out. Oh, are you Bill Belichick? You talk for the last hour of the flight, numbers are exchanged. It's like a little taste. It's like going to the ice cream place and getting a taste and going, I do think I want that flavor. I think that's kind of what it has to be.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not going to New Zealand at that point. Also, too, it gives her less time to stare at his face.
Right.
I think the more time you stare at his face, the more you're turned off you're going to be by this whole deal.
And less chance for like ugly sleeping. Like, can you imagine you start talking for an hour, he's being suave, he's slick Bill, and then all of a sudden he falls asleep like this? Like old man nod off sleep. Like no one looks their age more than when they nod off.
He was probably trying to have to hit himself the whole time he was talking to her as to not fall asleep.
Don't mess this up, Bill. Don't mess this up. You got a hot 24-year-old right in your hands.
I just, man, it's just, I just did not know he was that horny.
Well, is it? How many times could, like, I don't know. You go, what satiable, like, how satiable is he? Like, how in need of physical connection? Like, I don't know, because we only saw her say one thing on TV, and it was the most annoying she could ever look.
Yeah, I just love I just love that. I think I just love it that it's Belichick. I think more than anything.
Right, and the other thing, maybe this is how geniuses are, because they always said he was a defensive genius, coaching genius, and this is the way it comes out. I don't know. There was never. Everyone always said Bill Belichick. He's funny. Oh my God, and we never saw him say a funny thing.
Of course.
But everyone was like, no, you don't even know. He's hilarious. And then it's like, and then he gets with this girl, and then you're like, and he's still the same, like, yep, we got on to Cincinnati. And you're like, does she see the funny?
Doesn't that suck? Because, like, even if let's say he is this funny, charming, playful guy, but you can't be that on the football field. You know what I mean? No one's going to respect you. Press conferences, you can't be like that. And then here he is again. He never really gets to be himself because he has to be this like terse guy once again. Like he's at a press conference because it's such a scandal.
It is
People
wild.
are looking forward to Hard Knocks so much to be like, finally,
I can show how much we love each other.
Right?
I can show them the real Jordan and the real me. And he's like, and the best documentary. That's how annoying she is. He's probably like explaining to her. He's like, we got the best documentarians in the world to show how great you are, how great I am, how much we love each other. We'll show my kids. They'll believe in us. My kids' wives. Did you hear that his kid's wife like commented? Like,
no.
She was like, she commented on the Instagram, like, yeah, when your wife runs out on the shoot, that's what happens. Like, she's like no shame in them being like, we don't like her. Anthony Devito, Chit Chat Wednesday. Thank you for coming on. Everyone go to Anthony's taping. It's Friday night. It'll be on my Instagram. It'll be on the description of this episode. The Gutter in Brooklyn, May 9th. Get your tickets. 3 for 4 or 4 for 3. It's got a 4 for 3 special.
That feels not real.
Unheard of. Anthony, comedian Anthony Devito, at comedian Anthony Devito. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Boom.